beneath the heart of Vatican City. Behind fortified gates, guarded corridors, and sealed vaults, lies one of the most impenetrable collections of secrets in human history. The Vatican Apostolic Archive. Over 50 miles of shelving, over 35,000 volumes, a trove of manuscripts, correspondences, banned books, lost gospels, and knowledge that could change everything we thought we knew about religion, power, and ourselves. Why is it so hidden? Why are even top scholars restricted, monitored, and often denied access? What if the story of humanity has been carefully edited? What if the truths of ancient civilizations, the real teachings of spiritual masters, even contact with non-human intelligences, were all buried beneath centuries of silence? And what if those truths are waiting to be uncovered? This is not conspiracy for shock value. This is about control of knowledge, and therefore control of reality. Because those who write history shape the future. What lies inside those forbidden shelves? Why does the world's most powerful spiritual institution keep these secrets from the very humanity it claims to guide? Could it be that within those stone walls rests evidence of Atlantis? The true origins of the Bible, the esoteric teachings of Jesus never meant for the masses, or even the suppressed records of extraterrestrial encounters. Tonight we venture where few dare to go. Not into the archives themselves, but beyond the veil of silence surrounding them. So prepare yourself, because once you glimpse what the Vatican may be hiding from humanity, you'll never see history or the future the same way again. To understand what the Vatican Archives might be hiding, we must first understand what they are and what they are not. Contrary to popular belief, this is no ordinary library. The Vatican Apostolic Archive, formerly called the Secret Archive, was established in 1612 by Pope Paul V, but its roots stretch much deeper, back to the very foundations of the Church. Here are stored the private letters of popes, imperial edicts, and documents never meant for the public eye. Among them, the excommunication of Martin Luther, the trial records of Galileo, letters from kings, emperors, and whispers of darker forces. But why the secrecy? For centuries, the Catholic Church did not merely interpret spiritual truth, it controlled it. Knowledge was power, and certain truths, especially those challenging the Church's authority, were labeled heresy. Entire books were banned. Mystical teachings of early Gnostic Christians were destroyed. Alternative histories were burned. The Nag Hammadi texts, discovered in Egypt in 1945, contain gospels that speak of a Christ within, a divine spark in every soul, teachings that threaten the Church's monopoly on salvation. Now imagine what lies in the Vatican Archives that still has not seen the light of day. Philosophically, this secrecy reveals something deeper. It shows the eternal battle between institution and intuition, between outer authority and inner knowing. Ancient spiritual traditions across the world, from the Egyptian mystery schools to the esoteric teachings of the Essenes, all taught that divine truth must be earned, not handed down from a pulpit. Could it be that the Church has preserved some of this deeper wisdom? Not to share it, but to protect its power. And yet, ironically, by hiding the truth, they may have ensured its survival. Because what is hidden often becomes sacred. What is forbidden calls to the soul. This is why the idea of the Vatican Archives is so compelling. They represent more than secrecy. They symbolize the veil between worlds, between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknowable. What if the archives contain proof that Jesus was not just a savior, but a mystic initiate of ancient schools? What if they hold blueprints of forgotten civilizations, or records of contact with beings from beyond the stars? It's not just historical curiosity. It's a key to reclaiming the ancient truth, that you are more than flesh and faith. You are part of a mystery far older than Rome. A cosmic story whispered in sacred halls, buried beneath centuries of dogma, and waiting to rise. Let us peel back the curtain. The Vatican Archives stretch across more than 50 miles of shelving, holding over 85 kilometers of manuscripts, most of which remain inaccessible to the public. Only highly vetted scholars are allowed entry, and even then, only specific documents can be requested by exact title. It's like a vast cathedral of secrets, where each corridor whispers with untold truths. But why such intense control? Why protect these texts so fiercely? One theory leads us to the chronovisor. Yes, you heard that right. In the 1960s, an Italian priest named Father Pellegrino Ernetti claimed to have worked with scientists, possibly even Enrico Fermi, on a device that could see into the past. Not metaphorically, literally. The chronovisor was allegedly built using secret knowledge from ancient texts and esoteric principles. It functioned not by time travel, but by tuning into the resonant frequencies of past events still echoing in space-time. Father Ernetti claimed to have seen Christ's crucifixion, to have witnessed ancient Rome, even to have heard lost plays of antiquity. And where did the blueprints go? Rumors say sealed within the Vatican. It sounds like science fiction, until you realize that quantum physics now entertains the idea that time is non-linear, that consciousness may not be confined by the present. And this brings us to the second, and perhaps more controversial, vein of secrecy: ancient knowledge of the human soul. Throughout history, the Church has waged war against mysticism. Gnostics, Cathars, the Templars, and countless others who believed that divine truth was within, not administered by clergy. Many of their sacred texts, encoded symbols, and alchemical treatises were confiscated during inquisitions and purges. And many of those relics are rumored to be locked within these archives. These aren't just scrolls. They are keys to lost teachings on sacred geometry, cosmic energy, and spiritual transformation. For instance, certain researchers believe the Vatican possesses documents that link Christianity's origins not just to Judaism, but to Egyptian and Babylonian mystery schools. These teachings spoke of the divine self, the I Am presence, the journey of the soul through planes of consciousness. Why keep this hidden? Because if humanity realizes it doesn't need a middleman to access the divine, then the entire ecclesiastical structure collapses. Let us not forget the Library of Alexandria, once the greatest repository of wisdom in the ancient world. When it was burned, much of that knowledge vanished, or so we're told. But what if fragments survived, smuggled by monks, preserved in secret orders, and finally housed under Rome's watchful eye? Think about it. Why did the Church send agents to ancient lands during the Crusades? Not just to conquer, but to collect. What were the Templars protecting that made them enemies of both kings and popes? Even the Dead Sea Scrolls, revolutionary in their implications, were nearly buried again under bureaucratic control. Now imagine what's never been revealed. Documents proving the existence of pre-flood civilizations? Maps showing Antarctica without ice drawn centuries ago? Records of contact with celestial beings mistaken for angels? All these possibilities echo in the walls of the archives. This isn't wild speculation. It's a breadcrumb trail through time. And while the Vatican insists that secrecy ensures preservation, many believe it's about preservation of power. Because truth, raw, unfiltered truth, can set a soul on fire. And when enough souls awaken, empires tremble. This is not just a conspiracy. It's a deeper pattern. A war between light and control, between awakening and obedience. And the archives, they are the fortress where the flames of forbidden knowledge still flicker in the dark. Imagine a chamber, dimly lit, dust motes dancing in shafts of golden light. A monk walks silently past shelves bound in leather and iron. He stops, pulls out a document not seen by human eyes for 500 years. What truths might that parchment contain? Whispers speak of documents hidden deep in the archives, not because they're irrelevant, but because they're too powerful. Let's start with revelations about Jesus. Some esoteric scholars and former insiders claim that the Vatican holds texts that contradict the official story. Writings suggesting that Jesus was not a passive martyr, but a spiritual master trained in Egypt, India, and the Essene traditions. That he spoke of inner divinity, reincarnation, the illusion of death, and even the sacred feminine, truths erased from the canon. There are even rumors of early Gospels written by Mary Magdalene, portraying her not as a prostitute, but as a high initiate, a partner, a teacher. Why hide this? Because it dismantles the patriarchal structure of church authority. It puts the sacred back into the individual. It elevates the divine feminine, long suppressed and demonized. Now let's talk extraterrestrial knowledge. Yes, even here, the archives may hold answers. Throughout history, there have been curious alignments between religious visions and celestial phenomena. Ancient frescoes depict angels descending from what look like metallic orbs. The Book of Enoch, excluded from the Bible, describes sky beings, watchers from the heavens, and technology mistaken for miracles. And here's the twist. In 2009, the Vatican's own chief astronomer, Father José Gabriel Funes, publicly stated that belief in extraterrestrial life is not incompatible with faith. Why make such a declaration unless there is more behind the curtain? Some believe there are texts hidden in the archives that reveal direct contact between early church figures and non-human intelligences. Not demons, not visions, but beings from beyond the stars. And these contacts weren't always hostile. Some may have transmitted knowledge on sacred geometry, consciousness, and cosmic cycles that shaped the foundation of esoteric traditions. Now ask yourself, what happens when the public begins to accept that angels, gods, and aliens might have once been the same thing, described in different languages? Religions begin to merge with cosmology. Mysticism returns to center stage, and centralized control begins to crumble. Let's shift to suppressed technologies. There are persistent accounts of the church confiscating blueprints, manuscripts, and even working prototypes of inventions capable of free energy, vibrational healing, or dimensional travel. Nikola Tesla's work was often seen as echoing ancient principles. And some theorize that the Vatican actively monitored such thinkers, collecting and burying their breakthroughs. If humanity knew it could generate power from the ether, heal through frequency, or communicate across time and dimension, what need would there be for institutions built on fear and scarcity? And yet, one of the most chilling secrets may be the Vatican's knowledge of apocalyptic timelines. Some insiders allege that deep within the archives lies a hidden chronology, a timeline deciphered from ancient calendars, celestial alignments, and lost Atlantean records. It doesn't predict a Hollywood-style end of the world, but a massive shift in human consciousness, a time when veils thin and forgotten truths re-emerge, a time when the age of Pisces, ruled by hierarchy and blind faith, gives way to the age of Aquarius, ruled by inner knowing, unity, and light. Some believe the Church has long known about this shift and has worked to delay it. But the signs are rising. People are waking up, and the archives can only keep their silence for so long. Because the truth isn't just in Rome. It's within you, in dreams, in synchronicities, in the hunger you feel when something just doesn't add up. These secrets, whether about lost gospels, ancient knowledge, or cosmic truths, are not just for the elite. They are our birthright. And though vault doors may remain closed, the spirit of revelation cannot be caged. So now we ask, What are the Vatican Archives really hiding from humanity? Perhaps it's not just dusty manuscripts or ancient records, but a mirror that reflects the full magnitude of human potential, unfiltered by dogma, untouched by centuries of control. It may contain the truth of our divine origins, not as fallen sinners, but as cosmic beings, sparked by the same light that births stars. It may hold lost teachings, not of fear and obedience, but of inner alchemy, of how consciousness shapes reality, of how spirit and matter are not enemies, but lovers. It may guard keys to the great mysteries, the sacred feminine, the cycles of the stars, the bridge between science and spirituality. But here's the paradox. The real power of these secrets is not locked in vaults beneath the Vatican. It's encoded in the very fabric of your soul. You don't need permission to awaken. You don't need a pope, a priest, or a key to a vault. You need only the courage to question, the strength to seek, and the fire to remember what you already know deep inside. Because in the end, the greatest conspiracy is not that they hid the truth. It's that they convinced us to stop looking for it. So now I turn to you, Seeker. What if everything you've been told to dismiss as myth was pointing to the greatest truth of all? What if the Vatican Archives are not just hiding knowledge, but hiding you from yourself? Leave your thoughts below. What do you think lies behind those sealed doors? If this awakens something inside you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this revelation. The age of hidden truths is ending, and the age of inner knowing has just begun.